Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Know It Alls Talk Ball Podcast World Cup Review Part 2. So, we just had, if you listened to our last episode, recap the final. Now we're going to recap the tournament as a whole, looking at our team of the tournament, our best player, young player, Golden Glove, the James Rodriguez Award for Breakthrough Player, and the Manager of the Year, as well as goal of the tournament.
Yeah. I think we should just preface this by saying that, overall, when we look at a review of the tournament, we have to acknowledge how absolutely batshit crazy
It was insane.
This tournament was.
It was insane. I read today it was the World Cup with the most goals scored ever.
I'm not surprised.
So, 6 goals in the final. When's the last time that's happened?
No, I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember seeing a final like that. I can't remember so many
the quarters
upsets.
were amazing.
The group stage was crazy. The round of 16 was a bit of a miss.
Round of 16 and the semis were both misses.
Yeah,
it was like crazy, back to normal.
Yeah.
Crazy,
well,
back
we
to
had to have
normal.
some time to breathe.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So the quarters were insane. The semis were, could have used some work, but then they saved it for the final, baby. What a game.
What a game.
I think I still have goosebumps.
Yeah, I keep thinking about it. It seems like it didn't even really happen.
No, it's when I left here the other night, it was like it was hard to comprehend everything that we had seen in such a short space of time.
Yeah.
3-3 in the manner that it happened as well. I was watching the penalties and I was like, what have I watched? The last 120 minutes.
When the penalties came, it almost seemed like, okay, let's just get over with. Just somebody win already because I'm so sick of feeling like shit.
Yeah, I was like, I think I think I may have to go to the doctor tomorrow to check my heart because there's gonna be permanent damage.
Yeah.
There's gonna be something wrong.
My stomach was pumping. I felt my stomach move. Like it was so intense.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that everybody enjoyed the final yesterday, unless you're French. But even if you're French,
if you didn't enjoy that final as a spectacle of sport and a spectacle of football, I don't know.
I don't think any
sport. Just don't like sport.
Yeah, any sport is probably no sport you will ever find any joy in it.
Yeah,
because yesterday was amazing.
And if you don't like sport, I don't know why.
Why you're listening to us. Really.
But without further ado, let's get in to our teams of the tournament.
So how do you have them set up, your boys?
So I'm in a 4-3-3, but an attacking 4-3-3.
So
I'm
the
playing
fourth variation on FIFA of the 4-3-3.
I think it is, so I'm playing with a cam and 2 center mids.
Right. I have the 4-3-3 flat, just a regular old. And what better way to start than goalkeeper? So who do you have in goal for your team of the tournament?
I had to go with Emi Martinez.
Emi Martinez.
I think so. Yeah. After the both performances and penalty shootouts, and that last minute save last night.
Yeah.
I can't give it to his name. What's the Croatian keeper?
Livavkovic.
Yeah. I couldn't give it to him in the end. I think
fair enough.
Martinez took that extra step and played such a crucial role.
Yeah, he was pretty invisible the whole final because France weren't attacking, then conceded 3 goals, but then made the biggest save of the game and then saved the penalty and probably is the reason why Tchouaméni missed his. I mean, all the throwing the ball away.
Plus I was sitting there watching it and saying Tchouaméni's going to miss, and then he did.
And then he did
I
miss.
like to think I played a pretty big
part in it.
So goalkeeper, I'm going to say me
through Emi Martinez, the soul of Jason in Emi Martinez.
But who have you got in there?
So I was between Emi Martinez and my pick. So I have gone for Livavkovic. So Croatia's number 1. And the only reason I chose him over Martinez is because not only was he huge in penalty shootouts, just like Martinez, he became, I think, the 3rd World Cup goalkeeper ever to save 3 in a shootout against Japan. He saved Rodrigo's penalty against Brazil. And just that game against Brazil, to me, gave it to him.
That game against Brazil.
That second half specifically, he made save after save after save after save. And the reason why I think he goes in over Martinez is because Martinez was huge to Argentina winning, but Livavkovic at times was the only reason why Croatia were in it. Like if it wasn't for his performance against Japan, against Brazil, a team that had no goals in the tournament, basically, like really struggled to score, even though they could control the game with the midfield. But at the end of the day, they still conceded a lot of shots. Livavkovic conceded the most shots on target in the tournament, and he saved 80% of them.
That's really
so he
high.
made 24. He saved 24 shots on target. And I think he was the reason why Croatia made it to the semifinals. Because in terms of the strength of the 4 teams that made it, Croatia were by far the weakest when you compare them against Morocco, France, and Argentina. And I think Livavkovic had a huge part to play in that. And that's why I think he was my keeper of the tournament.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Who do you have at right back?
Yeah, let's go right back. I've gone with, I think he's really the only choice for this, Hakimi.
I've also gone for Hakimi. I mean, he was instrumental. Not only 1 assist, but...
but he just he's had such a crucial role in making sure that Moroccan squad played the way that it did.
Yeah.
Set up so well defensively, but then also able to go on and counter-attack.
Exactly. Like, he was both, such an integral part to the way they defended and the way they attacked. And I think he also completed the most passes per 90 for the team. I think he had the most tackles and interceptions overall for the team. He was huge.
And then I think he played every single minute of...
he wasn't missing. And that was a Moroccan team that at the end you could see against France and against Croatia that their wheels were just falling off. Like they were... Roman Saiz had to be taken off, 20 minutes into the semifinals because he could not move anymore. So Hakimi, I mean, is it even a shock that he's here?
No, I think
he's ridiculous. He might be the best right back in the world, period.
I think so.
Like, there's very few that can compare with him now.
I mean, in terms of a world scale right backs, you've really only got, I think, Kyle Walker, Trent, but he's
Trent's
not
off
even,
form,
not
and
even good
Cancelo
enough.
plays left back. So Hakimi.
I think Hakimi
had a great tournament.
Should we go to left back next?
Let's go to left back. So who do you have at left back?
I've gone with Theo Hernandez.
Yeah.
I think apart from last night, he had a pretty good tournament.
Last night he was awful.
Yeah, he didn't do that well, but he got 2 assists in the tournament, 85% pass completion, and also 68% was it? Yeah, 66% successful tackles against the dribble.
That's good as a fullback as well, playing these tricky wingers.
Yeah, and he has second highest combined tackles and interceptions. Second highest below, I think, Konate in the defense for France. I think obviously their midfielders quite often get more tackles and interceptions, but second in that stat. So he's really done a lot in terms of attacking and defending, which is what you need to be a world-class fullback nowadays.
And he scored against Morocco, the opening goal that kind of, I think, put France a little bit more at ease because they were getting quite thoroughly dominated. And then Theo Hernandez popped in with a goal and kind of put things back into control for France. He was very good. I think the only game yesterday, and I think against England he was also quite poor. Defensively is the issue with him, right? Like his forward is and I think that's why like Lucas Hernandez starts for France over his brother. I think Theo is probably the better footballer than Lucas, but Lucas is just defensively so much more sound that. And since Mbappe doesn't like to track back at all, he's kind of like Messi in that sense. He doesn't defend. Then when you have Theo who's just running up, it leaves so much space.
Yeah.
And I mean, the second goal was basically because there was nobody on that side, and we managed to put it all the way across to the other wing to Di Maria. But Theo Hernandez, in left backs, I thought in general nobody really. That well.
That's kind of part of the reason why he's there as well. Because I mean, apart from that, I go down.
Luke Shaw.
I think Mazraoui and Luke Shaw. I was looking at Mazraoui's stats today, and he played quite well throughout the tournament.
Yeah, and at a position as well. So.
Yeah. Like you said, I don't think anyone else really deserves
Acuna was given team of the tournament from L'Equipe, but I thought that Acuna was not very good.
He was terrible.
Yesterday he was so bad. I don't know why he subbed him on. And I thought Tagliafico, when he played in the semis and yesterday, was
quite
so good.
Defensively, very, very sound,
good, and still would find himself up sometimes. Like,
who have you got in there?
So I went for a right back because I couldn't find a left back I liked, and I went for Croatia's Juranovic. So he was amazing, especially against Brazil. Like, if you when you go back and watch even just like the mini match extended highlights, like Brazil couldn't do anything down Neymar's side, and then they tried switching the wings, and they still couldn't get anything down that side. Like Juranovic was maybe the best player of the game against Brazil, and that is incredible considering that even in his own team he's competing for that spot with Modric, Kovacic, and playing against Neymar, and to play that level. I thought he was very instrumental to the way that Croatia defended, which was their strength the whole tournament. And yeah, I the lack of left backs basically led me to picking who I thought was the second best right back. For the tournament.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was good.
Nothing else to really add to that, I don't think.
Let's move to center back. So, I mean, now that I'm looking at my team, I'm also realizing it's just players that made the semifinal. Like, I don't have anybody.
I mean, but you can kind of expect that because the best players, the players that perform the best, their teams will probably make it far. So it makes sense that, your team is made up of, players that made the semifinalists.
Who are your center
I think we
backs?
both got the same centre-back pairing now that I'm looking at it. I've got Gvardiol and Otamendi.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have the same back line.
I think, I think most people would have gone for that centre-back pairing.
There are still like Konate had a good tournament.
Konate, I was almost going to put him in instead of Otamendi.
Yeah.
But he didn't quite get the playing time.
In the end, right?
Yeah.
Did he start last night? No, Upamecano started last night.
Yeah.
Then he came on later. I Marquinhos also had a good tournament up until he missed the penalty. He was having a pretty good tournament, but I think let's start on Gvardiol. I mean,
world class apart from that.
Apart from Argentina, he was elite every game.
Apart
Against
from
Morocco.
Messi, really.
Yeah, Messi. Messi is the only reason he didn't have like even against Morocco, he was so good. He scored a goal. He made a great run that should have been a penalty and wasn't given. And I think that's just because he's so big. You don't expect the guy to fall and get fouled,
and he's got absolutely rapid pace.
He's so fast, and he wears a fucking mask.
He looks like a sitcom.
He's so scary. How is that guy 20? He's got more facial hair than I do now. Like, he looks like a man.
He looks.
I feel like he was born with a mask on. He was so good the whole tournament.
But so influential to how well Croatia did as well. I think.
The fact that like we talked about it, right? It wasn't a team that offered a lot up top, so their defense had to be elite. And Gvardiol was elite next to Dejan Lovren,
exactly,
who also I think deserves a shout. Like obviously
played very well.
Not as high profile as Gvardiol, but played very well. I thought, like considering his age as well, he did well to marshal it.
Reads the game very well because he's so old and slow, and so he has to. It's his only strength. He kind of has to do that. But second centre back, Nicolas Otamendi.
He was insane the whole tournament. I think up until yesterday he was having a great game as well, up until he gave away that penalty.
I mean, I looked at his stats today as well, and he's sort of top of like tackles, interceptions. Like he barely got dribbled past at all.
Aerial duels, he also won so many like aerials, against the Netherlands, even though we conceded the 2 goals, he was still really big in keeping some of those chances out. Against Australia, when they had the tallest outfield player, who I think is like 6'7" or something, up top, when we were up 2-1, Otamendi won every header against him, even though he's considerably shorter. He marshaled the back line. A lot of people at the start of the tournament wanted him dropped so that we had Romero and Lisandro playing next to each other. But Otamendi, like, at 34 years old, 100th cap at the World Cup final.
What a way to do it.
What a way to do it. Like he was huge this tournament for Argentina.
I think also as well, when I was looking at his stats, he had, I think, 94% pass completion, which is, obviously it's probably not a whole lot of expansive passing. But it's very important for a centre-back to be able to not give away the ball. Which, when I'm thinking about it, I didn't see... There weren't very many defensive mistakes from Argentina in general, and pretty much that's how defenders get measured, by their mistakes.
Exactly.
If you do an error, if you have an error in your game, then it's gonna be exposed because the opposition's gonna score. So it's very easy to see when defenders have a bad game. And just throughout the tournament, Otamendi was just pretty faultless. In that sense.
I thought he was really, really good, and he brought sort of another type of leadership to the team. Messi's leadership, I think, is more just because he's so good at football. You follow what he says. I think Otamendi's got like more of a personality. Him and DePaul are really like the spine of this team, along with Messi and Emi Martinez behind him. And I don't think, I think Lisandro and Romero, better center backs, 100%. But without Otamendi, I don't think the defense is as structurally sound as it was. And that's why he goes in my team of the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's move on to midfield.
Midfield,
we both let's start with
I think we've got one common midfielder in
who that is. Who is that?
We've got Modric.
We got Luka Modric. Yeah.
I mean, he just for me he brought so much stability to the Croatia squad.
37 as a midfielder. Man.
He just ran just about every game in the midfield that he played. You know, he's so good on the ball. Those little shimmies, touches, drop of the shoulders. Yeah. He just knows how to get that little bit of space to usually because Croatia was so average going forward, it was usually getting those little pockets of space to just calm the game down, buy a little bit of time. But that was so crucial to Croatia's success.
Not just eat chances after chances. I thought he was also, even against Argentina, the game that they lost 3-0, I thought up until we scored the first goal, Modric was running the game in midfield. Like, he was playing so well, and overall, he just had a great tournament. It came out now that he won the bronze ball, so came third best player of the tournament. Can't really disagree with it. I thought he was huge in every game again for Croatia. Let's move on. So who introduce one of your different candidates? Who do you have?
So I don't think you've got McAllister in there.
I don't have Alexis McAllister.
So I've gone with Alexis McAllister. Just for me, such a calming presence for Argentina. Whenever he got the ball, he was able to wriggle out of situations, give them time, give them space. And then I've also got a couple of stats here. 88% pass completion. But that's the thing, when I was looking at his stats, there's not a whole lot that stands out with in terms of his stats. That's why I'm saying his contribution to Argentina, you could see on the pitch in the way that he was able to find space, wriggle out of tight areas. Especially last night, he was really good at that.
Good.
Yeah,
he was so good. He knows somehow he's always in the right position.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah. So I think he was just class the whole tournament through, and he is possibly making an appearance in my later awards as well. I think that's why I've gone with him at the.
And he scored. He assisted last night as well in the final. He was
faultless.
Amazing.
Faultless. I can't really think of any mistakes that he's made. And just really, really solid in that center position.
Yeah, he was great. Speaking of players who perhaps weren't, as in terms of stats, like lighting up the world, but were so instrumental to their team, I have gone with Azzedine Ouhani from Morocco, their number 8. So he plays for Angers. He's also making an appearance later on in my awards. So he's a player, like, I was also looking at his stats and nothing really pops out, like good pass accuracy, good tackle and interception numbers without necessarily being outstanding. But the one thing that he does well is control the game through his dribbling. So as a center midfielder, he completed 77% of his dribbles. And he had something like 16 completed dribbles throughout the tournament, which I think puts him up there with, I think only Messi and Musiala had more in the tournament. He was instrumental to Morocco's
Musiala
tempo.
had more with
Musiala
out
had
of the
19
group stage.
Dribbles.
Had they stayed in, he would have been.
He would have been easily the young player of the tournament, maybe the player of the tournament, depending on how far Germany went, because it clearly was all on him to do stuff. But back to Ouhani, so he was instrumental to Morocco's insane run. Nobody had any idea who this guy was, like, unless you're an Angers fan or you follow Liga and very exclusively, that that he's performing. But up until this tournament, last season he signed for Angers, and it was his first time at a first division of football. And then he was on the bench. This year he's been starting. He's been playing really well, dribbles a lot. That's kind of his main strength. He's such a good dribbler. And now he went to the World Cup and absolutely lit it up. I think without him, Morocco missed a lot of the pace on that midfield, and he had to be in there for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so my last midfield spot is a cam,
Right.
and I've gone with Antoine Griezmann.
Hmm.
Um, I think one of the players as well that up until last night had a spectacular tournament.
Yeah, last night he
Um,
was poor.
he just wasn't
The
there. Like,
midfield was
yeah,
running over him.
yeah.
Last
But
night.
yeah, in terms of creating chances, there wasn't anyone in that France team apart from Mbappe that was doing it as well as
Yeah.
Griezmann did. He had 5.5 shot creating actions per 90, which
Wow,
is
that's ridiculous.
really high. Yeah, and I think Mbappe was the only one that had more in the French team with I think 7, which is absolutely obscene. So yeah, and I think he's had 3 assists as well. So clearly,
Yeah.
and just when you watched him play, his passing game was incredible. The way he was just able to, I can't remember which game it was that he really.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I hope everyone's okay, whoever that
Yeah.
ambulance is heading for.
Probably the French team.
Probably some Argentina fan.
But yeah, what game was it that his passing really? Who did they play in the round of 16?
Poland.
Might have
Yeah.
been the Poland game. One game where he just controlled
Yeah.
the game. It was incredible.
And against Australia, I think I remember watching him and just being amazed that because we've always known that Griezmann is not necessarily a striker.
No.
He's more a 10 secondary striker.
I reckon he's a cam or a centre forward, like someone
Yeah.
that drops deep, gets the ball, creates chances.
He was
'Cause
very good at his role.
Yeah, I can't put him on the. I don't think he's a left winger either because he's played left wing before as well, and it just hasn't worked.
No, especially at Barca.
Yeah.
That was what he was at his worst when he was playing in that position. And I think it was quite interesting to see him sort of take what France was missing from Pogba and put it into his game and sort of on his shoulders to carry. Because having the stability behind him of Tchouaméni and Rabiot, who were doing a lot of defensive work, kind of allowed him to play the way that Pogba did for that World Cup squad, where he was kind of like like an advanced 8, kind of like how De Bruyne plays for City, like
Yeah.
at center mid, but a little bit higher. You don't really call him a center mid, and yeah, he really excelled in that role, and I hope that this form. I mean, he was in good form coming into the tournament, but like I hope it brings him back to the level that Griezmann once was, which was a Ballon d'Or caliber player.
Yeah, I think this tournament kind of proves that he hasn't lost any of his.
That
any
form
of his
is
talent.
temporary, but class is permanent. Yeah.
Exactly, and he's got bucket loads of class.
Yeah, he was great the whole
So yeah,
tournament.
that is why he is in my last midfield spot.
Yeah, so
Who's,
I have
who's
taken
in that for you?
another Moroccan. I have so many Moroccans in this team now. Well, deservedly. I've gone for Sofiane Amrabat. So the man who's taken all the headlines from the
Yeah.
Morocco team, I think. The big, bald man. He was so good this whole tournament. Just like the best CDM by a mile in the tournament.
Yeah, I was very close to putting him in there as well. But yeah, I had to go for a little bit more of an attacking vibe to my.
I mean, to be fair, my midfield, Modric, Uhani, and Amrabat sitting behind them, it's kind of sexy. So I kind of like it. But I think he was huge. He was huge. I think the game against France, specifically, the moment that stood out was already quite late in the game. And Mbappe, you just know it doesn't matter. Minute 1 or minute 119, his pace and his energy doesn't stop. And Mbappe was going on one of these crazy runs, and Amrabat just from out of nowhere comes in, 2-footed tackle, perfectly on the ball. Mbappe sprawls on the floor, he gets up, passes it out.
Yeah.
He was huge and clearly a leader to this team, and I think that he's gonna be another one of these players that he's at Fiorentina, he's playing, he starts. It's not like he's some guy nobody knew about. Like I think people that watch Serie A are very much aware of who Amrabat is, but he's definitely one of the guys who I could see having a big money move. At the end of this World Cup in January.
Yeah, definitely one of the players where their value is gone up drastically, which is what the World Cup does.
Yeah. We'll see like how much of it is legit and not just World Cup form, because a lot of you do
get it.
that.
You do. I swear, after a World Cup, you get a lot of transfers that end up being duds because teams see what's going on in the World Cup and they're like, oh, let me grab some of that. That fits well here, and it's. I think some players just elevate themselves for a World Cup and just elevate themselves for the national team. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, there's so much more to play for.
And I think like Guardiol's quote says it all. That when he after the game against Argentina, he said like, "Now I'll be able to tell my children I played against Messi." And then he said, "I've already played against him because he has played against with Leipzig against PSG." Um, but playing against Messi in the national team, he's a completely different animal.
Yeah.
Like, and I think a lot of these guys, hopefully not, and hopefully it wasn't just like the best 7 games of their lives, and they do something in the future. Let's move to the forward line.
So our front three, I think, is exactly the same.
So we've gone Mbappe left wing, Messi right wing, Julian
Alvarez.
Alvarez up top.
I think these three, you don't need to justify it with anything.
No.
They're just kind of they just fall into place. I think you have a couple of honorable mentions
For striker, I think Mbappe and Messi were clearly the 2 best players in the World Cup, and it wasn't even close.
You could put Giroud as an honorable
if
mention.
it wasn't that he got pulled off like 30 minutes in, I think Giroud would have been there. I mean, also he scored the same amount of goals as Alvarez, was maybe even bigger than Alvarez in some, like, you know, he scored the winner against England, like he scored important goals. So Alvarez is the only one that Giroud, I mean, is the only one that I think could get into this team over Alvarez. But Alvarez, I think the reason why you have to put him in is because he didn't start the first game, but after that he started every game, and he was so instrumental to Argentina. Like, without him, Messi doesn't have space. We miss out on 4 goals. Like, Alvarez was the only other player other than Messi to score more than 1 goal at the World Cup for Argentina.
His pressing as well does so much for the team.
He didn't stop. Like, yesterday he came off like at extra time and he looked spent. Like, you can tell the guy's energy bar. He's like, oh, well, even if I have 5% left to give, I'm going to give it. Like, he doesn't stop running. Presses so well.
Pep taught him well.
Pep taught him really well. I'm excited to see what it's like. You know, he's coming back to a City dressing room as a world champion, but to sit on the bench again, like, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, he's gonna come in with a World Cup winners medal, and Haaland's gonna be sitting there just being like,
And I'm a huge Argentina fan, a huge Julian Alvarez fan since he was at River Plate, because like as a River Plate fan, I knew how good he was, and when he signed for City, it was huge. There's no way he just places Haaland in the team. Like, Haaland, if Haaland's name was Enrique Haaland, like Haaland Perez or something, he played for Argentina, we would have won like 7-0 last night. Like, so you know, but Julian Alvarez was huge. He was huge this tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, do we even need to talk about the other two? Like, I don't think we do.
I feel like both are just like on another level right now.
On another planet. It's
and Mbappe, honestly, like, he might be. Oh, sorry, Siri went a little crazy there. I don't think you understand what Mbappe. I think Mbappe might be the best player in the world right now. Maybe even better than Messi. I just think that, like,
it's so hard to say at the moment.
But it's
you got
1A,
Haaland as well. Like,
yeah, but I think what Mbappe offers, I think, like, you know, I'm a City fan and I always will be, and I'm backing my players. But I think the Mbappe-Haaland debate is going to be like the Messi-Ronaldo debate, where people have sides, but there's clearly a better player.
I think the football world is very quick to forget. I mean, Haaland's got, how many has he got at the moment in the Prem?
That's true.
15?
He's got like 18.
Yeah.
No, 18
like,
already.
you guys are football fans and sport fans in general are very quick to forget. Like, obviously, like, Mbappe at the moment, he's in all the headlines because Haaland wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't even there. So I think it's a bit disrespectful to Haaland to say that it's a one-horse race at the moment.
The only reason why I still will say that after what you said is that I think that Haaland cannot do what Mbappe did last night. I don't think that if Norway, let's say Norway has a stacked team just like France, right? Let's say Norway has a crazy stacked team, but they have a clear superstar, Erling Haaland, the same way that France do it. Stacked team with a clear superstar. If Argentina was playing Norway and we were up 2-0, I don't think Haaland can score 3 goals like Mbappe did yesterday to bring the game back.
I think for Haaland to end up being in a greatest of all time discussion, he would have to do stats-wise something absolutely obscene because
Ridiculous.
he's never gonna be able to get a World Cup with Norway.
Realistically, if he
Realistically,
qualifies, I mean, I think the team with Odegaard and they do have other players.
they could achieve something.
They could achieve qualifications,
Yeah.
but to winning, that's a whole different
I
thing.
think. I mean, it would be it would look absolutely incredible if he was able to achieve something with that Norway team, say a Euros run or something like that.
Yeah, even like a quarterfinals at a major tournament.
But I think if Haaland wants to have ever in his career a claim at the GOAT, it's obviously going to have to be done in the Champions League.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be done with a stupid amount of goals.
Yeah.
And yeah, just other stuff
and I
as
think
well.
Haaland, speaking on that, like he's already at a major disadvantage. Anytime there's a major tournament, he's not going to win the Ballon d'Or, even if he scores 60, 70 goals. Because realistically, like if France and Mbappe do well, then Mbappe's going to win that. Like if France wins the next Euros, it doesn't matter if Haaland wins the Champions League and breaks all the records. Mbappe's probably going to win the Ballon d'Or for winning the Euros. I mean, Messi's going to. I think that's the thing, right? Like Haaland could genuinely score 45 goals in the Prem this year, but because Messi won the World Cup, Messi's going to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
You know, so I think he's at a disadvantage there. But to bring it back to the World Cup, Mbappe. What is there to say about the guy? Like, I know he scored 2 penalties, and that's very easy to criticize him. Oh, it's a hat trick with 2 penalties.
No,
like,
I think that
like the gall to score 2 penalties at a World Cup final is huge.
In a way that may even add to it, because I mean, Harry Kane showcased how hard it is to score take 2 penalties in a game,
and he kicked all 3, even the one at the shootout, in the same fucking corner.
Really?
Like, all of them to the left, to the side.
He hits them with so much power.
So much power. Because Martinez got a hand to 2 of them, and both times he just pushed it into the net.
And we know how good Evi Martinez's hands are.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So, you can't fault. Well, you could fault the first 80 minutes of Mbappe's performance last night, but like, you know, as a player, and there's no one else who's getting in that left wing spot, and him. Yeah, you're right. Him and Messi just from another planet.
Another planet. Yeah. I feel terrible for Mbappe, not only for losing, but because like, I don't know what Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, was doing. He thinks that him and Mbappe are homeboys. Like he thinks they're best friends. Like, bro, he doesn't know you like that, and he just lost the World Cup final after scoring a hat trick. Leave the fucking guy alone.
Yeah.
Like, he would have stopped grabbing him, talking to him, trying to console him. Like, way to go to make it all about yourself. Like, trying to shine a spotlight on yourself.
I think that's a fault that I had with the celebration in general.
Yeah.
Is because they did that to Messi as well. Bloody FIFA man was all over him.
Yeah, Infantino wouldn't like. And then when they ushered him, they were ushering him. So like the top G of Qatar, who I forgot what their title is. Like, let's call him the top G, the Sheikh, right?
Yeah.
So him and Infantino, the way that they ushered Messi to the World Cup trophy, clearly a guy who doesn't like, just he wants to go to his team, and he's being like grabbed, ushered, like being talked to. Like, first of all, Messi, like, he doesn't speak any fucking English. Like, what is the Sheikh saying to him? Like, maybe the Sheikh speaks Spanish, but like, what is that guy saying to Messi that Messi understands? Messi doesn't understand a word. Infantino probably speaks Spanish, but whatever comes out of his fucking mouth is garbage anyways. So what is the point?
Yeah, like, I think I thought that was ridiculous, and the thing that they put around him,
I have no issue with it.
I'm gonna speak out. I'm gonna say I'm gonna preface it by saying that I don't know if it has cultural significance in Qatar. I assume that it does, but I don't care that it does. And here's why. I think this is okay. Yes, you held the World Cup. That's a huge cultural moment for you. Yeah. But that's your moment. You had it. Okay. Yeah. Messi just won the World Cup for Argentina, not for you. Yeah. Like, it has nothing to do, at that point, I think it has nothing to do with Qatar. And, you know, and at every other, has there been another World Cup? So, when they held it in France in '98, they didn't give him a baguette. Like, you know, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I think that people now are referencing so Pele has a sombrero on when he won in 1970. In Mexico. Okay. So people are referencing.
But did the president of FIFA give it to him?
I don't think so. Yeah. I think somebody gave him a sombrero.
Yeah.
I just think that it was like whatever. It was so unnecessarily extra.
But Messi, you could see Messi didn't want to wear it either.
It felt like he had to though.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Messi like, and I think he knows like, well, I'm not gonna make a big deal. Like I think for Messi it was like, fuck, what is this? Yeah, okay, I'll put it on.
Yeah,
Like I don't give a
whatever,
shit.
yeah.
Like I just won the World Cup. Like whatever. Like just put it on. But I don't really care about it. Like I don't think it took away from the moment. It definitely seemed like a desperate
Yeah.
attempt to make it about themselves.
That's what I hated. I was like,
Yeah.
FIFA, you have been in the headlines enough.
Yeah,
like,
like-
you do not need any more attention. I thought, yeah, it didn't take away from the moment, but yeah, it's still just
I think
sort
that
of,
the only thing that like I appreciate sort of the show of respect and the cultural show of respect, because apparently that robe is only put on in very special occasions when there's like a crowning moment, like winning the World Cup. And I really appreciate that gesture. What I don't appreciate is that it made Messi stand out from the team, which
Yeah.
he already does because he's fucking Lionel Messi. But by putting that on him, it almost kind of made it seem like Messi won the World Cup. And I know that was a whole narrative, like Messi winning the World Cup. But like as an Argentinian, like Argentina won the World Cup, you know, and like to single out our player and make him seem like so almost as if like so much better than everybody else, which he is. But we don't need a constant reminder that like the World Cup was for Messi and that Messi won and blah blah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Argentina won the World Cup and Messi can't play by himself against France. So I think that's my only issue with it. It really made him like stick out more than he already does, and made everyone else seem extremely irrelevant.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think there's just no need for that, and I think it's in a way, to me, it's a little bit pandering to an audience as well that's looking for. Representation is great, but like
But you
I
could
feel
say
like
we already
sometimes-
had it just by the
Yeah,
fact of having the World Cup there.
Exactly.
Representation speaks for itself.
Exactly that, and when sometimes it feels forced, and it's just
it felt so
It
forced.
did feel really forced, yeah. So
I do wonder if they would have done the same. Like, would they have put that on Lloris? Because like Messi's the captain. Like, so I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, like, was it? Did they put it on because it's Messi or because he's the captain? Because realistically, like, I don't see if France win. In my mind, that robe goes to Mbappe, even though he's not the captain.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
what was it going to go to the captain anyways? Or was it always going to go to the star player? Like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of so, I don't know.
it was just it was just a bit weird. But let's get into our awards, because we've been talking for
a
an
long
absolute
time, yeah.
age. So
Let's start easy. Golden Ball.
Best player, Messi.
Messi.
Done.
I mean,
Don't need to discuss it anymore.
first player to score in every knockout phase, finished with 10 goal involvement, which was tied for the most in the tournament. First, now has the most World Cup appearances. First player in the history of the World Cup to have 20 goal involvements in the competition. And it just seemed like he got better and better as every
Like a
game that
fine
came
line.
on.
Yeah.
Every game he just played better and better and better and better. And he raised the level of the whole team.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we need to say anything else
Honorable
about
mention,
it.
Kylian Mbappe. I don't think maybe Griezmann if he would have had a good game.
No,
but Mbappe
no,
was the
it's-
only one.
it was whoever won the final was taking home
the
golden ball.
I mean, I think if France would have won and Mbappe scored a hat trick.
No,
so it wouldn't have
Mbappe's
mattered.
winning
Yeah,
that if they
Mbappe's
win the
winning it.
game,
Like
yeah.
unless they win it 1-0, then maybe Griezmann would be in a shout. But I still think Mbappe would have won it.
no.
Yeah.
Best young player?
So who have you gone for?
I've ended up going with Jude Bellingham. It was a tough decision to make because I initially had Gvardiol in there. In terms of an overall tournament, I think he played really well. But when I watched Jude Bellingham play, man's got just oozing talent and oozing class. He's so
at 19
good.
years
At
old to be
19.
to be sometimes England's best player on the pitch.
I think at least in 2 games he was England's
he
best
was
player.
insane.
Yeah.
Him props to England in general. Like it sucks that they lost 2-1.
You also got Bukayo Saka in there.
Saka was Saka. I don't know if he still qualifies for the.
That's a good question,
award.
actually. I'm not too sure.
He might, but he might not either. But I don't know. But England in general, I thought were comfortably one of the best sides in the World Cup. Same with Brazil, that just were outdone. Like it just wasn't their day that day. You know, like they could have easily played each other in the final. I think Brazil and England.
But who've you?
So I've gone for Julian Alvarez.
But he doesn't. I thought he's 22.
So he does fit in. So I thought he also didn't, but then I did some research, and because he turned 22 recently, apparently he's still eligible. So he could have won it last night.
Wait, who won it?
Enzo Fernandez won Young Player of the Tournament, which I think it was the right call.
But over Julian Alvarez, if he does qualify?
That's the thing. That's what I didn't get. Like,
Yeah.
if he does qualify, and obviously you're going to give it to an Argentinian because we won the World Cup, which after, well, I'm going to get into that after because it's another point. But yeah, Julian Alvarez to me was the Young Player of the Tournament for Argentina, if not one of our most important players of the whole, if not next to Messi up there. He changed the complexion of the squad once he started. Like Lautaro, I don't know what was going on with him and his shooting boots the whole tournament.
He took Higuain's boots, man.
He took Higuain's, the video you sent me. That was funny. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with him, but non-stop pressing, non-stop effort. The goal against Croatia basically his first goal summarized what Julian Alvarez brought to the table, which was just heart, passion, non-stop attitude, never give up. He was so good, and as we said before, the only other Argentinian player to score more than a goal in this tournament. He ended up with 4, which is ridiculous for your first World Cup. Honorable mentions, I had Enzo Fernandez, who won it, Jude Bellingham, Musiala. Honestly, like, he was out in the group stages. He's still there. He's still there. I think he completed like second most dribbles. I think he was like top 5 for expected goals, chances created. Like, he had such a ridiculous tournament for 3 fucking games. He was insane. And Guardiol, I think, also deserves a shout. Also, only 20 years old. So
let's go to the break. I think we should go through these a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
we've been talking for
a while. So let's go the James Rodriguez Award.
The breakout player, James Rodriguez Award. Yeah.
Who are you going for?
I've gone with McAllister.
Yeah, that's a fair shout.
I think.
Plays for Brighton as well.
I think a lot of people didn't know who he was before he started, and especially with a name like McAllister, you stand out in a Argentinian squad.
And he's also like, I mean, the skin tone of our players is all relatively the same. If
you're all white.
Similar. But then, like, McAllister stands out because he's ginger. Like, we don't have any other gingers except him.
Yeah, exactly. But just amazing tournament for him all around.
So first Brighton player to ever win the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just sort of sums up exactly what a breakout player is meant to be in a way. You know, someone that wasn't well known and is leaving the World Cup with like a $60 million value.
Do you know what McAllister's next game is?
Is it Charlton Athletic?
It's Charlton Athletic away, or Charlton United, one of the two away in the League Cup. Man, you just won the World Cup, and you have to go play that game, man. Charlton. Fuck that. I've gone for Adesina Uhani. So I talked about him a bunch, but to come from Angers, a league that is already critically underwatched because, like, unless you're French, I don't think many people watch Ligue 1. And also Angers is not necessarily it's not like he's playing for Lyon, Monaco, Marseille, PSG, a team that people associate with being good in France. He plays for Angers, so he had a ridiculous tournament. He was great, and also his value must have definitely shot up through the roof.
Yeah.
Golden Gloves, who do you have?
Well, I mean, this is kind of explained because I put him in my team in the tournament.
Yeah, me too. I had Livakovic, Golden Glove. I mean,
so nothing else we can really do about that.
And the manager of the tournament,
I've gone with Scaloni because he won. So.
Yeah, I mean, and also you do have to take into account that he tinkered with the midfield until Poland, where he got it right with Enzo, De Paul, and McAllister.
Yeah.
The first game we played Paredes and De Paul, didn't work at all. We lost against Poland. We looked so sluggish. Against Mexico, we looked so sluggish with Guido Rodriguez in there. Took him out, put Enzo, put trust in these young guys who have not a lot of experience playing for Argentina, and it was just it was perfect. He really earned it wasn't just like, oh yeah, we have a manager and just a stacked team. He really had to work hard to give us this victory. I've gone for Morocco's Walid Regragui. I probably mispronounced that. Just because, he took over not only Morocco, first African side to make the semifinals, first Arab country to make the semifinals, but he's been in charge in total for 10 games, 7 of those at this World Cup. Yeah. So he had 3 friendlies. He came into the job in August, into a job that was like a Moroccan team that was nobody liked. The fans were completely against them. The players themselves hated playing for the national team. He brought back Ziyech, who had a great tournament.
Yeah.
He brought back sort of stability to a team that really needed it. The first Moroccan manager from Morocco in 6 years, so clearly that helped a lot.
And I think what stands out to me in terms of the Moroccan team is how well they were set up.
The low block was perfect.
It was, you have to have a good manager to be able to set up like that and to have it work. You have to have, that's kind of like how Jose Mourinho plays. It's very
that's
similar
what
to
he made his career, his legacy off of, right? And I think another point that is very good for Scaloni as well was Walid, is that they managed to get the fans behind the team again. They made them enjoy the football they're watching.
Best fans of the World Cup, I reckon.
Yeah, Morocco and Argentina up there for best fans of the World Cup. I think Europe had awful fans.
Well, there's just no one there.
Nobody was there.
Yeah, I think the English probably had the most turnout
England
out
was
of
probably
Europe.
Wales, I feel like, also had a decent turnout, maybe.
Yeah,
but
that would make sense. I think they're usually pretty supportive.
Yeah, Walid, great job, man. Great job. And I can't wait to see what's in store for this Moroccan side. Let's round it off. Goal of the tournament.
Goal of the tournament. I think we've both gone with the same one. Maybe I'll have a look through and eventually I'll change this decision. But I've gone with Richarlison against, was it Serbia?
Yeah. Me too. I think without context, that was the best goal. If you just look at the goal for what it is, that was the best goal. You also have Abubakar when he chipped the keeper against Serbia. Mexico's Chavez's free kick against Saudi Arabia.
I think Julian Alvarez's goal with that Messi assist was also
for the assist. And there were some beautiful team goals. The Netherlands against the US had a really nice
last
one.
night. The second goal
last night's
was
Argentina's
amazing.
Mbappe's second goal. I think with context, Mbappe's second goal for France was the goal of the tournament.
But you were saying that this is the World Cup with the most goals, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot to pick from.
Exactly. I think I might have to go through and take a second look. But yeah, I think that Richarlison one is. Oh, you've also got the Neymar Brazil goal against Croatia.
Yeah, that was a great
Walks
goal
it past
as well.
the keeper. Yeah,
great goal.
Yeah, kind of forgot about that one because they lost.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing. So I just wanted to bring this up quickly as a mini rant. Why the fuck do we give the awards immediately after the game's over? It makes zero sense. Like, of course, every guy that's won or has played in the final is going to win a trophy.
Yeah,
like, you're not going to call the Croatian keeper, from the plane on the way to Croatia or, already home with his family or just chilling, after playing 7 games of football, at the most mentally stressful thing and, be like, hey, Livavkovic, you won the Golden Glove. We need you on stage. No shit. If you give the awards right after, they're going to be players on the pitch. If France would have won the World Cup yesterday, we would have had Mbappe, Golden Ball, and Golden Boot. Lloris, keeper of the tournament. Chouameni, young player of the tournament.
Yeah.
Because I get it. They got to the final. The players deserve it. But, it's such stupid award if, you basically only qualify for it. Because I thought Emi Martinez, sure, the penalties, but other than that, and,
I
moments.
think I'm right. I picked the right goalkeeper.
I just think that other than he had moments, but he wasn't necessarily the best keeper at the tournament. He did. I thought the header that Weghorst scored in the first goal, he definitely should have had a better goal, a better chance at that.
I think in a way, the World Cup in general,
it's just moments.
It prioritizes moments.
Overall.
Because
absolutely.
The moments is what gets you the World Cup.
That's true.
You might play fantastic, like Brazil played amazing the whole tournament, but they lost.
Same with England.
Exactly.
England, that one moment he missed the penalty and it was over for England. So
the Dutch have been in 3 finals, but we haven't won.
Exactly. So I don't know. I just think that they should at least give it the next day and just release it. Who cares? You don't need an award ceremony.
True.
We already knew Messi was going to win the second. The
also
second
super
that Argentina
awkward
won,
for Mbappe to stand next.
and have to take the picture with the guys. Oh my god, bro! Oh my god! I can't imagine how that guy. I feel so bad for him. I can't imagine what it feels like to score a hat trick in the World Cup final and still lose it. That. I mean, no one's literally ever felt that in the history of football.
I don't feel that bad for him. If I'm being honest,
fuck that guy.
Bro gets to go home to earn billions of dollars with Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe still win the.
What are you talking about, man? He has to go fight Shredder.
He has to go fight Shredder.
Yeah,
What?
Donatello, bro. The brothers are waiting for him. He's got to go fight crime in the sewers of New York.
True. It's a tough way to come back.
It's a tough way to come back, man.
Yeah, let's end it on that
Yeah.
with Mbappe's Ninja Turtle Chronicles. But guys, this World Cup has been absolutely insane. An absolute
Insane.
pleasure to
Cover
make videos about. So we hope that you guys enjoy them and that
We will go, I guess, on a little bit of a break because of Christmas now.
Yeah, I think. Once the Prem's maybe sort of when does the Champions League come back?
I
February?
think January or something like that.
Yeah,
I think
early
maybe
Feb or
early
something.
Feb.
Yeah.
Oh no, early Feb. Yeah, early
Yeah.
February. I think that's when we'll definitely
We'll definitely be back
then.
for our grand return. But yeah, I think we all need a little bit of time to
Yeah.
recover from what we've
Digest.
seen over the last
Well,
month.
Liverpool plays City this Thursday. So.
Oh God, here we go again. All right, but hope you guys have a good Christmas and a happy New Year. We will see you then.
Peace.